Hey guys, Dr. Liz here, Doctor of Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine, checking in. Just wanted to hang out with you guys today and have a little bit of a talk about some mental health conditions. And while we do that, I want to welcome you to my home while we hang out. So I just want to talk about this because it seems to me that a lot of people have been asking me to do videos on that. I know I have the new book out, Live Longer, Eat Better. A lot of people super excited about that for food therapy. And there are some great tips in there as well for mental health. But I think you guys want and need, from what I'm understanding, a little bit more of a hangout and a chit chat and a dialogue in and around anxiety and depression, general mental health, and how do I find my way. Now, I think a lot of you guys have been watching the videos on how I find my way. And we talked about things, and you can go back and review that video. But today I want to talk about generally mental health conditions, depression and anxiety, and what is it really all about. So let's start there. And first of all, depression is more than just a feeling sad or down, or just having a bad day. Depression is more like when a sad mood lasts for quite a while, and it interferes with your normal, everyday get up and go. So some of the symptoms that if you're genuinely depressed would include things like, kind of feeling sad or anxious, either frequently or even all the time. You might get irritable easy or really frustrated or actually quite restless. Some people get that. And in most cases, we see anxiety and depression together. Usually one might be a little more than the other, but typically, in most cases, have a little bit of both. So ask yourself those questions and which one's more for you. So again, more symptoms of some of the depression might be, not really wanting to do anything that used to be fun for you. It's not so much. Or maybe you have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. Ask yourself, do you have trouble falling asleep? Do you have trouble staying asleep? If it's both, which one's worse? And do you end up waking up too early or sleeping all the time? Maybe you eat more or less than usual, even though you don't have much of an appetite. And my question too is, are you experiencing any kind of headaches or like stomach problems that don't seem to get better with treatments? That oftentimes can be another possible indication of depression. Continuing on, sometimes we just feel tired, even after you've slept really well, or you feel guilty, worthless, or helpless. And maybe you even think about killing yourself or hurting yourself. I hope not, but this can be an indication or a symptom of depression. So some people even have, trouble concentrating or staying focused, and they think they have ADHD, or maybe they do have ADHD, but it becomes stronger when they feel depressed. Or maybe they can't remember stuff like they used to, or they can't really feel comfortable making decisions. So anyway, sometimes we ask ourselves when we get in this space, like, what causes it? And to tell you the truth, the exact cause of depression is really not all that well known, because it can be a cause or combined of lots of different kinds of stuff. It can be partially genetic. It can be I think a lot of it comes from a lack of love or rejection, or so we experience it as such. It can be a lot of different psychological factors. Part of it could be biological, like we said, with the genetics. Part of it could be from our environment. Maybe we just don't like where we're living. We're not jiving with the vibe of the people. But the following factors may increase your likelihood of becoming depressed. So if you do have relatives that have had depression, it's possible you might too. And the question is that due to your environment or is that due to biology? But either which way, it seems to sometimes run in families. Or maybe you did experience some trauma, and that can be a tough situation to heal from. So some people have very, traumatic events that have occurred, either a rape or an emotional breakup or some type of a traumatic or stressful event, or even another type of sexual abuse, or even a death in the family or of someone that you care deeply about. Or financial problems can also sometimes lead people to feeling depressed. Even a divorce is like a death in a way, right? So that can lead to depression in some cases. Even having, going through a major life change, even if it was planned, or, taking certain medications can actually cause depression. So check in with your physician, your primary care, your psychologist or psychiatrist or whomever to check if that can be a side effect. That's important to not have happen. Or even people that all of a sudden get diagnosed with a medical situation, either cancer, or maybe they had an unexpected pregnancy, can also cause depression. So who actually gets depressed? So a lot of times it's a lot of people in the United States. It looks like it's like 1 out of every 6 adults will have depression at some time in their life. And it affects about close to 20 million people in the US every year. And anyone can get depressed, and depression can really happen at any age to any person. So you're not alone. And that's, I think, important to understand. You are not alone. So I think when we understand that, that's also a good thing to recognize that there are a lot of people in our world that have similar problems. So not that we want to hang out and fuel each other in a toxic sense, but it is good to know that you're not alone. So I think one of the biggest things is to try to figure out, where do we go from here? How do we get past some of this sadness once we identify that we have it? I mean, obviously you can go talk to a professional counselor, and that might be very useful. But you don't want to stay obsessive compulsive about your sadness either. And absolutely it helps to talk to a professional trained clinician on these topics to help you heal. But other things you can also do is stay in touch. Don't withdraw from life. Try to do more exercise. Get out there. Whether it's, hitting a tennis ball against a backboard, joining a pickleball group, or going for a walk in the morning and just hanging out with nature. Walk the beach, walk the snow, whatever it might be. And I personally think that a lot of depression and anxiety stems from feeling rejected, a lack of love. Now, there's instances where that's not true, like in certain cases of post-concussive syndrome, can experience depression and anxiety from brain damage, TBIs, and so forth. But the large majority, psychologically, of anxiety and depression can be from feeling rejected at some point and having that form into some sort of a syndrome. So I think it's important to surround yourself with beauty, spend time in nature, put beautiful artwork in your room that makes you smile, makes you feel at peace and happy, and listen to music that's uplifting. If you're going through anxiety and depression, instead of listening to rock and roll that brings up tons of high and low feelings, I think it might be useful to explore smooth jazz or spa-like soothing music, or even classical, Bach, or something that lifts the spirit and feels unemotional but uplifting, if that makes sense. So you can play around with that too. And I think just surrounding yourself with beauty inside and outside. So I think you also, one of the tips I would share, I think, on dealing with depression is, face your fears. Facing fears is really important. We don't want to hide from them. We want to face them and prioritize them. So that's important. It takes courage, but sometimes in life we got difficult situations and we just simply gotta, work through it. Working through it each day, every day, inch by inch, life's a cinch. So it's really, really important, guys, to address our fears and don't drink too much. I know sometimes we want to forget about everything and go out and maybe have a couple drinks or smoke some weed. But for some people, alcohol or marijuana or other recreational drugs can become a problem. So it's best to kind of stay the healthy route. And instead of getting caught up in all that, try to eat a healthy diet and have a routine. Those are really helpful tips. So every time you feel low, fuel yourself with something nourishing. Maybe search healing quotes or read a poem that's uplifting. Put on the classical music. Take a hot tub that's nourishing to you and buy yourself some fresh flowers that smell amazing. Do things to love you, to show yourself love. And that can be very healing, especially if we do think that anxiety and depression can stem from rejection or feeling a lack of love at our roots or at any time. So we need to be our own parents sometimes and treat ourselves with that love and nourishment that maybe we didn't totally get. And honestly, most people don't totally get it. So it's not a bad idea to become your own best friend, your own best parent, and start to treat yourself with the love that you've always so dearly and desperately craved. And guess what? It's never too late. So some other things that maybe can help some people when they're feeling depressed or suffer from depression or anxiety is, accept yourself where you're at. It's depression really does affect millions of people. So including some of the people in your own life, as you know. And so you might not realize some people are suffering from exactly the same thing that you are. Similar challenges, similar feelings, and have similar issues that they have to cope with. You just don't know that because maybe they didn't tell you, and maybe they hide it really good, or maybe you hide it really good. But you just look at the numbers, and there's a lot of people that have this problem. So when you really feel stuck too, you gotta kind of force yourself to just get outside the house and take a walk around the block, or just even around your house, or just even halfway down the street, or even, it exposes you to nature, and nature is beautiful, and nature is healthy, so that you can harmonize with it. And whether you think about it or not, you naturally will when you surround yourself with that. So, when you're suffering with this kind of thing, you're never alone. But it is good to be aware that lots of the people in your life have something similar, if not now, at some point, and a lot of them even right now. And a great way to put one step in front of the other is to just push yourself outside and take a walk around the block. And know that today is not necessarily indicative of tomorrow. So tomorrow's a new day. Each day is a new day. Life is promising, and life is special, and life needs to be treasured. But if you need to be sad or cry or sleep or, hunker down, it's okay, but give yourself boundaries around it. Okay, I'm allowed to obsessively think this long today or cry for this long today, but then I've got rules. So then I'm going to go for a walk around the block. I'm going to go eat 3 amazing vegetables and berries. Or I'm going to, even if you really don't feel like it, if you force yourself, it will help you start to feel a little bit better. Get on a routine, like we said. And you can also assess the parts instead of generalizing the whole thing. It can be difficult on our emotions, but you may find yourself focusing on things that are unhelpful or perceived overwhelming or difficult. But try to stop that negative attitude, because it's like an over generalization. And, if it helps you, you can also write stuff down, journal, just get it up and out. And try to track each day what you've done for activities that you enjoy. So when you have that negative feeling, get up and go outside and try to monitor day to day and week to week how frequently you're able to get yourself moving around, doing activities that you enjoy. And do the opposite of what sort of the depression in your head is telling you. So, like I said, if you think something's not going to be fun, and so you don't think it's worth it going, maybe tell yourself, hey, let me put myself out there and try to find go anyway and try to find 3 things that you really liked about it or enjoy while you're doing it. Give yourself a little assignment like that. It's good for you. It's very likely good for you to try to do that. And then keep moving. Keep moving is better than not moving at all. So, you can always basically reward your efforts too. So make little goals every day and then celebrate when you're able to do them. Like when you achieve a goal, you know? And you'll get there if you just create a routine. Do stuff you enjoy and listen to the music. Spend the time in nature. Spend time with people that you like and like you. You might have to reevaluate some of your friendships. Some of the people in our lives that we think of our friends, they're really not. And so I know it's a fine line between sometimes being loyal and trying to work through things with people. And naturally, our family, and a lot of times, we want to stay connected to people that are meaningful to us, our parents and our siblings and, folks like that. Sometimes a lot of us make decisions to work through those relationships, as difficult as they may be, but we don't have to tolerate ill behavior from people that aren't our family. I mean, there's no real roots there, and especially if it's not good for you, it's best to maybe move on from certain relationships that aren't helping you be the best you that you can be. There's always ups and downs in relationships. Nothing's perfect. But if it's toxic, if people really don't have your back and they show you their true colors again and again and again, day after week after month after year after decade. I mean, not talking family so much, but I'm talking people that you've been choosing to spend your time with. You try to discuss it with them and they really don't have your best interest. It may be time to make those changes or lessen the amount of time that you spend with those people. And the people that you have in your inner circle need to be so carefully chosen. And you'll know when it's right, because those people, when you're with them, you feel really good. And when you're not with them and you think about them, your soul smiles. So it's the people that you never feel good about when you're with them, or, that you keep wanting more from them. You're never going to get it. Those are the people that you don't necessarily want to give too much of your time to. Some people are like this in life, and we have to deal with them and work with them, but we certainly don't have to completely invest in them as close friends. So if you have people like that in your inner circle, it may be time for you to reevaluate and move on or lessen the amount of time and energy you invest with toxic people. Okay, that's really important, because we really are who we spend time with. So if we spend time with amazing people that know how to get what they want out of life, they respect you and other people, and they offer their best qualities to help elevate you, and you are willing to do the same with them, those are friendships that we cherish and nourish and that are well worthwhile. But if they're not on those lines and they're just toxic, well, you're going to become that way if you're not already. So pick your friendships carefully. Respect all people, but be careful who you really let in on your inner circle. Okay? So another thing I love to tell people, or I love to recommend or encourage you guys, is to try something new entirely. Whether it's eating a different type of food if you've never had Greek food, go get some, or find a recipe online of most popular Greek food, or maybe an Asian dish or something from Ireland. Who knows? Whatever you want. But so cool to be able to really, try new stuff. Try a new sport. Go to a new little place, even driving distance from where you are. Take a bus ride. Anything. Go to a different beach. Go to a different mountain that you've not skied, or take a day trip. If you don't ride your bicycle, maybe ride your bicycle. Do something new and different. It can be small and inexpensive. Go into a store at the mall that you've never been into. But just continue to push yourself in new, evolving directions so that you're in an exploratory mode. I think when you're constantly exploring even little things, it's so helpful in moving forward and moving out of anxiety and depression, especially depression. So doing new things can feel really rewarding, and it may improve your overall well-being and strengthen your social relationships. I think really, so, like I said, trying a new sport, a creative art class, or some sort of a new recipe to cook even at your home. It can help. It really can help. Okay? And you can always try to wake up in the morning. And the first thing, another little tip I want to share with you guys is in the morning, think about 3 things. Maybe you'll have your journal next to you by the bed. Think of 3 things that you really are grateful for. Okay? What are you really, really grateful for? Maybe being alive. Maybe your favorite TV show is on. Maybe that you're healthy. Whatever it is, right? Maybe you like your dog. Maybe you like your cat. Maybe you're grateful for your friend overseas or whomever. But write 3 things, or think of 3 things first thing when you get up, of what 3 things you really have gratitude for. And I suggest you do the same thing right before bed. This little silly exercise is really helpful. And, there's always meditation, which I definitely am a huge fan of meditation. And I think anyone who's willing to meditate, it's a really great idea. But a lot of people I know that suffer from anxiety, they have a really hard time being still. So if that's your problem, start with the gratitude. Start with the 3 things in the morning, as soon as you wake up, of what you're grateful for. Make this one of your habits for success. So it doesn't matter how basic it is. You can write it down. You can just say it, but do it. Do it. 3 things you're grateful for, and then do it again before you go to bed. When you do something like that that you love, or even, when you find a new activity that you enjoy, it can really benefit your mental health. And you'll start to be thankful for it. So, like I said, I think it's a good idea to write down your gratitude. And it can be particularly meaningful. Because the more you're aware of what you love, the more you're going to do it, and the happier and healthier you're very likely to grow into. So we talked about the meditation. That's awesome. I'm super into it for anyone who feels sad or anxious. But the gratitude is definitely a great step if you can't handle the meditation yet. Yoga's great. Journaling we talked about. Awesome. I think that goes along with the gratitude. 3 things in the morning, 3 things in the afternoon. And then, just like we said before, eat really super well. So there's no like magical diet that treats depression, although there is things I will talk about to you guys in another video about food therapy for anxiety and depression. But just eat a lot of vegetables, berries, fruits, things that will nourish your brain. I know that Dr. Amen is awesome. You can listen to his videos on how to nourish your brain. He's wonderful. You can listen to that. You can read, books, spend time with nature and all that kind of thing. But eating well, just vegetables, fruits, maybe not eating as much dairy, try to avoid sugar, try not to eat gluten, eating really, really clean, fresh, organic, healthful eating is wonderful. And particularly Dr. Amen is an expert on brain health, and I think he's also very helpful to reach out and look at some of his stuff. And then just, Dr. Michael Greger is a great resource for vegetarian foods and how they scientifically help anxiety and depression and that. So you can look into both of those resources. I highly recommend them both. If you do have chronic pain, I think that Dr. Stephen Gundry is brilliant with his recommendations of diet for avoiding the lectins and healing leaky gut. So those three sources are my idols out there, but I will also give you guys in another video, as I've already promised, reference to food therapies from the Tao that will help improve your conditions of anxiety and depression in a separate video. But for today, just talking about hanging out with you guys in this little picture of my beautiful home, which I like to share with you because I want to get you guys enjoying beauty around you, putting beauty around you inside your house and out, so that when we surround ourselves with beauty, physical beauty, with flowers and things that smell good and lovely music that's uplifting and not overly emotional, it can stabilize us and get us moving in a healthier, more vital direction. So again, we're sort of talking about tips today, how to, gently move ourselves out of depression and anxiety. Another thing that's important is, even if you don't feel like it, it is really important to practice good hygiene. And so get up, take a shower, and also sleep hygiene is important. Some of these sleep disturbances can be fixed with just taking a shower before bed. So sleep disturbances, I don't have to tell you guys, are pretty common with depression. So you may not sleep well. You may have, like we said earlier, have difficulty falling asleep or difficulty staying asleep, or both. But taking a shower before bed, brushing your teeth, flossing your teeth, taking really good care of you, even drinking like a warm cup of green tea, especially if you have like vivid dreams at night. I don't know if you guys are more anxious than depressed, then, drinking like green tea, warm green tea or chamomile tea before bed can help. It really can. It soothes our soul and helps us feel nice and clean, that we've taken good care of ourselves. And then we can maybe sleep a little bit better. So, and once we get our sleep a little bit better, if that's possible, we can also, we can start to enjoy our daytimes better as well, because then we helps us with our daily routine if we sleep well. So going to bed and waking up at the same time every day can help you with your daily routine. So getting also the proper amount of rest and sleep can make you feel more balanced with your life and more energized throughout your day. So accept your emotions. Don't suppress them. Your emotions are important. How you feel matters. It matters. So suppressing them or compartmentalizing them is what sociopaths do. And feelings, your feelings it's important to work through them. Sometimes we have to put them aside a little bit to function every day, but it is important to go back and work through them. And I personally think one of the best ways to do that, as I referenced in another video, is to not suppress and not ignore them and not compartmentalize them. Maybe sometimes we have to get up and go, but to start to recognize you have these feelings, but what do you really love? So instead of always focusing about what you really don't love and all these horrible things that happen to you or that are happening to you, it creates your vibration at a very low level. So we want to basically start to vibrate at a higher level. And how do we do that? We start to focus on what we love instead of what we don't love. We start to focus on the little joy and gratitude that we have instead of all the pain that we have. So our mental health can be effectively turned around with attitude and gratitude. So attitude and gratitude can absolutely transform your life significantly and sustainably, and for the way better if you do these little practices. Get on a routine and have good sleep hygiene. Drink warm chamomile tea or warm green tea before bed. And, if you need to talk to someone, you talk to somebody. So that is, I think, the fastest way to stop depression is to, you may need medication, you may not. But in my opinion, the fastest way is to focus on what you love, get on a routine, and incorporate exercise into your daily living. So the gratitude, write your 3 things down in the morning when you first wake up. Write 3 things down before bed that you're grateful for. Do that every day and see how your mental health starts to improve. Surround yourself with people that are positive, that you respect and admire, that you want to be like. Surround yourself with those people. If those people aren't in your life now, spend your time alone, thinking positive, exercising, joining groups, getting affiliated with people that you want to be like. Think about who and what you really want to be like and start to recreate yourself in that direction. That's a great way to overcome depression, and eating extremely healthy. Stay away from, recreational drugs and weed and alcohol and even prescription medications, unless your doctor's prescribed you and you need it. Then that's a discussion for you to have with your doctor. But there are a lot of studies that show these other protocols and modalities work in many cases, such as exercise daily, as effectively and or more effectively in mild and moderate depression than drugs. The other thing is, if you do take an antidepressant and you come off it quickly, I've seen a lot of women get really sick and have balance issues like that nobody can seem to fix. So if you do get on an antidepressant, be very careful about getting off of it and getting off of it slowly, because it can mess up your neurotransmitters, your dopamine and your serotonin, and some of the others that cause a feeling of sort of dizziness or imbalance. And you don't want that added issue to your life. That's not the way to go. So anyway, I hope that really helps. And like I said, I would reach out and read some of these other videos and books out there to help heal your brain with like Dr. Amen. I think great food therapy and brilliant information at nutritionfacts.org. And then if you do have physical pain or leaky gut, that many people that struggle with mental health issues do have, because our mental health strongly impacts our digestive tract. And so then I think in those cases, Dr. Stephen Gundry is a great resource. He's got, if you need to lose weight, he's got a 31-day book of food that you can eat that will help heal the leaky gut and help dissipate pain and create weight loss. I think he himself lost 50 or 100 pounds or something. Amazing. So all these things are really great ways to start to overcome depression, anxiety, restlessness. And it's good for you to look at how you got in this space. And is it stemming from somehow a feeling of rejection, a feeling of a lack of love? And if that's the case, then giddy up, because you and your faith can help heal you and give you the love you need and want. Never give that power to one human being, parents or siblings or a spouse. That is not, you'll never be fulfilled if you're looking for love to the depths of your soul by parents or any person. So find it within yourself to re-parent or co-parent yourself with the love that you crave and need. And look to your higher power, God, Jesus, Buddha, whomever you believe in as your higher power of faith, to help embody you, to nourish you with the love that you crave and desperately need. I think that really is, in a lot of these cases, the absolute root cause of mental health. So, with few exceptions. So if that resonates for you, then take the initiative to be your own greatest parent. Meaning, give yourself that love, that food therapy, that nourishment, that beautiful music, the beautiful flowers and surroundings inside your space where you live and outside. Nourish yourself with great exercise and beautiful things. It will help you better cope with the life that we live in, where many toxic people reside. And the more you start to transform by doing positive exercises that we've just talked about in this video, the more you're going to shine and thrive. And you can then become an inspiration to a lot of people that you can then help yourself. And that's an extended part of our healing, guys. When we start helping people, it's amazing, because you'll start realizing how much it matters to share with other human beings your own healing. And that's a continuum of healing for you. So anyway, I hope this is really, really helpful. And I welcome your comments down below. But I just want you guys to get inspired, drink a lot of water, and keep the faith. Do all these positive things in your life, and keep me posted on your progress, okay? And until tomorrow, many blessings. Bye for now.